what came out quite commonly is that CIOs are being redefined from back office troubleshooters to more strategic role in terms of understanding goals around data, rules of the business, and rules of interaction to increase efficiency.
Hello and welcome to another episode of ITWeb TV on the road. I'm joined by seasoned CIO, John Bosco. He's going to tell us a little bit about his keynote today and a little bit of insight in terms of the AI landscape. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you very much, man. So, today's keynote, if you look at what my topic was,
Yes.
it was essentially talking about how the role of CIOs is changing in this digital first world that we find ourselves in. And in my keyword, I addressed where we have moved from the past through the different maturity models of the CIO. From being the person enabling finance, a CFO, to enabling the organization, and now helping to automate the organization. But if you look at where the CIO is today, the CIO is now the person that is becoming responsible for driving the intelligence, the collaboration, and the transformation of the business. And that's why when I speak to a lot of CIOs, I tell them, until the day you can answer those questions, you will be the guy who does inner. You will be the guy that makes sure the network is out or the servers are out. Because for you as a CIO, that's why I spoke in my team number. If you start driving your business to use intelligence and creating intelligence that is bi-directional, you'll find that even when we talk about AI is about intelligence. It's about using data, transforming data, and using data not only to communicate, but also to enhance your customer experience, but also to create revenue for an organization, right? So as the CIO Council, which I'm representing as its chairperson today, in my keynote, I also mentioned the importance of qualifications, certifications, and designations in this world that we find ourselves. Because the CIOs of today has to be agile. They have to be able to make sure that they are always in the lead in their respective industries. Because the challenge that you have as a CIO is that whilst you are doing one thing, you have 100 others that are in the same industry as yours. And all of their companies are asking them two fundamental questions. What's our differentiator? What will increase revenue? What will bring more clients? Those are the three things. And if you as a CIO do not have answers or strategies to deal with that, you're going to find out that at the end of the day, you don't deserve that ExCo seat. You don't deserve that seat on the board. All you will be doing is being relegated to being a support structure for somebody who does.
Okay.
And in a lot of businesses, you either reporting to Group Corporate Shared Services or report to the CFO.
Which is not good.
Which is not great at all. So I think from an industry perspective, we have put things in place to deal with the development of CIOs, to make sure that there's continuous learning, to make sure that they have to earn CPD points, to make sure that they, for the first time, can earn a professional qualification that actually carries the weight of a digital qualification.
Okay.
Because in the past, we used to always say, you go and study a BA, but you're in IT. No, you study this to be in IT. And that's how when they employ people, they say, do you have a PSC? Do you have a this or that? For you to work in IT, you're never going to use any of those other things at the time, but you're going to be in IT. So what we have done is we have, as an industry, developed our own qualifications and certifications. And those are actually recognized by SAHWA.
Okay.
And they've got NQF qualification, which now means that I can give somebody a professional qualification like a certified IT professional, and that has a degree equivalent. So when they say, here's an advert, you need a degree, I don't have to worry about getting a degree from UJ or wherever, you can actually now use that as a degree and you qualified.
Or
Because it's acknowledged by SACWA and NQF. The same way when you become a chartered CIO, you get a postgraduate qualification in NQF8. And so people are developing. But what we are doing is we realize the very important role that the tertiary institutions are playing in providing a capable workforce.
okay.
So we have partnered with UJ as the Chartered CIO Council. And this has been accepted by the Senate. We are in the process of finalizing our contracts, and hopefully that will be finalized within the next couple of weeks. And when it does, it will be an industry first.
Okay.
Because now it will be the first time where a tertiary qualification will carry a professional body qualification at the same time.
Oh, that's very
So what that essentially means is that you'll be able to go to UJ or you'll be able to come to the council, learn the same content, get the same qualifications, and now for the first time, you are able to use that qualification to go and do your master's or to do whatever the next level is
Okay.
after a postgraduate degree. So what that does is we are creating opportunities where industry, especially the tertiary industry, can work together with ICT to provide qualifications that is relevant to our people in our industry.
Okay, that's really interesting. And another thing that you mentioned after your keynote was the involvement of AI and how AI is slowly displacing some jobs. How is your organization like? How are you incorporating AI so that we don't have a problem like you mentioned that people are providing these tools like AI tools, but people don't actually end up losing jobs because of the tools rather than incorporating the skills that they're getting from the AI into making the company more efficient, as per se.
So you'll note that during my speech, I spoke about the implementation of AI. And I said to the colleagues in the room, and I said to them, guys, if you are implementing AI, make sure you are implementing it bi-directionally. Bi-directionally, I said to them, is that if you use AI just for customers, just to create a better customer experience or to increase your revenue, your back office is going to fail. Because essentially those people are not going to realize the value of AI. They will see this thing as a threat replacing their jobs, right? But when you start using AI, both internally as well, to capacitate the people you have will operate at the full level. And then some of them might become the next person that designs the business rules of AI behavior.
Okay.
Not understanding IT,
Okay.
but understanding the thought process it needs to go through to get the right answer to say, John qualifies to get this degree, or John qualifies to get this special, or I can give John a 10% discount because he's bought 20 times before. So those rules are important. And then you have people that even though they've been in what we call dead-end jobs in the past, is those repetitive work where you do it every day and you're not measured on the quality of what you do, but you measured on the quantity. I've done 10 forms for the day, so therefore I earn 100 rand, right? Those people can now actually start not just looking at the forms that they calculate. They can now start using AI themselves and say, how can I improve the data I collect to maximize the value of why we're using that form?
Okay.
So the person now starts translating their mind. But remember, there has to be a want, there has to be a need. And that is why we believe that changing the mindset of ICT has to start from the school benches. That's why we partnered with Minister Andrew Motshekga when she was still the Minister of Basic Education, before she went into the military now. To say to her, man, you are providing CAT and IT qualifications to students from grade 10 to grade 12. But all you give them at the end of a year is a grade 10, a grade 12 certificate, which is matric. They have no recognition of ICT whatsoever. So what we did is we started certifying their curriculum, certified their course and everything, and the trainers and the facilities that they use. And by doing that, we have successfully saved 2 to 3 years out of a student's life cycle.
Oh, wow.
And the reason for that is, and I'll tell you why. So When the guys are done with matric, they've done CAT, they've done IT. And what does CAT and IT really do? Some of them is programming, some of them is support, some of them is basics, etc., right? So these guys would go to typically your Damlins, your Lyceums, and all these colleges around. And they would study the exact same topics for 2 years of their life to get what? A certificate from MICT CITA that says you have done IT. So what we've done is we created a master class, because as a professional body, we understand that there's also a code of ethics and the behavioral things that we need to teach these students when they go into the ICT sector so they can understand it. And by that master class, we then qualify them, having passed the exams with the Department of Basic Education. And we give them a SACO accredited NQF qualification that they can use to either go straight into work or they can use to develop further. And we did that as well in partnership with UJ. So UJ has been instrumental to us as a strategic partner in creating change as a professional body in South Africa.
Okay, interesting. I think that's it from me. Thank you very much, Sean.
It's a pleasure. Welcome.
Sir, may you please just introduce yourself and which organization?
Okay, I'm Billy Mabena. I'm with Adapt IT and responsible for sales and marketing. So you're one of the group directors.
Okay. There's something that you raised during the keynote or a question that you raised about AI. How do you see your organization addressing the balance between AI efficiency, AI-driven efficiency, and potential displacement of jobs in South Africa?
Yeah, a good question, and it's something that we grapple with. We have to find a balance when you adopt any form of disruptive technology, and AI is one of those, right? I think when you look at, we always like to refer it as your augmented artificial intelligence, because in a way it augments what humans are supposed to be doing. And there's not only artificial intelligence, this one is really supposed to augment what humans are supposed to be doing. So naturally it would have an impact. As we drive those efficiencies, it would lead to redundancy, some type of redundancy, people not having, being needed anymore. And this is what, whenever we approach an AI project, we never want to be confused about where we are as a company, where we operate from. We know very well the challenges that we face in South Africa in terms of unemployment, and especially youth unemployment right here. So whenever we embark on an AI project, we consider those factors and say, what impact is it going to have? And if it is going to have an impact in terms of jobs, then you tread carefully around the adoption of it and how you accelerate the adoption of it. You pace yourself. So if you have to train people, make sure that reskill them. If you have to reskill people because you want to implement this, make sure that the timing is aligned, right? But at the same time, one of the key things that we do as an organization, we are focusing on building companies, and this goes to our ESD program. We understand that there's going to be driving efficiencies elsewhere, but we also have an opportunity of creating new businesses. We have an opportunity that can create new businesses that can start complementing the job losses by creating new opportunities for the youth. So we'll be quite intentional about supporting our ESD programs, our ESD partners, supporting them in such a way that they create jobs. One of the key things that we measure them on is the number of jobs that they've created with the investment that we give them, right? We don't necessarily concerned about the solutions and all of that. We're more concerned that they are constantly creating jobs. And it's one of the key measurements that we're concerned with whenever we have any investments and sit down with them. And that's how we try and balance it.
Okay, so what proactive steps are you taking to reskill and upskill employees whose roles are at risk of being displaced by AI?
So naturally, if you look at Adapt IT as a company, we have a program that is called Ideal Team Players, right, or Ideal Players. And within that framework, you look at, so you have your A, what do you call A players, B players, C players, and all of that. And this is ranked by a number of factors. So A players, these are people that are doing well, guys that you would rehire if you had an opportunity, right? You would not even think twice. And then when you look at you, and I'm going to jump the B's and I'm going to go to the C's. The C players are guys that you really wouldn't be actually, you kind of have an exit plan that these guys are quite toxic in the business, are not really there for that. So when you look at the proactiveness in terms of risk scaling, you're going to focus on your B players, right? Because you want these guys to be your A players. You want them to be the guys that you say, I want to keep these guys and rehire. So your training programs or your reskilling program, you focus on those guys in the B player section. And it starts with one. One, you need to have a vision. It starts with vision. When you look at any transformation, be it human transformation, digital transformation, it is anchored by a number of pillars. So you're going to have 4 or 5 pillars that anchor that. You're going to have your vision and strategy, which is your first one, where you need to have a clear vision. You need to have a clear strategy around any transformation, or whether it be the adoption of AI. You need to know why you're doing it, right? So the vision and all of that. Then you have your second pillar that will be very important is around your processes. Like you have to have clear processes. And this is where issues of governance, issues of, HR processes, whatever, that's part of that. And then you have the layer, which is people, right? People and culture. And then the last layer is technology. So we don't push technology ahead. We don't start with technology. You won't say strategy, vision, and tech. We always say, let's go through these pillars as they are. And then we will then, once we've known what is it our people need, what is their career ambitions, where do we want to be in the future, then you start upskilling them for that. Person that you can't really skill someone who does not see themselves as part of the future. You'll have to align in terms of the ownership that they've taken themselves to be A players. So what is it that they've identified as their personal development areas? How does that align to your vision? How does this align ultimately to your processes and things that you want to do? And how does that align out to your technology adoption? And that's how our training program will really be done, right? It's not going to be one-sided here.
Are you guys in a process of training any employees currently?
Yes, yeah. We do have an AI program across all our EBUs. We have a committee that is really focusing on how we could adopt AI as a company. And out of that, the committee will then advise on the training elements or the training requirements that we need to do for the different roles that we might need. And then we'll start identifying the individuals. So we have a vision that we'd want to leverage AI. And then we've created a committee, and then the committee will then work on the processes, and then the processes will then start with the people.
Okay. And do you have any skills that are high at risk, that you think maybe for company efficiency, necessarily AI can do, and maybe it can help you guys really reduce costs?
We see it this way. We see it not necessarily that there's jobs that are going to be at risk. We see it as that AI, it is always going to augment our human capabilities. It is going to enhance our human capabilities. We are not in the movie where we want to drive efficiencies by replacing people with AI, right? That is not the intention for us. Our cost efficiencies, we drive them through certain aspects. There's things that we look at that will help us in terms of driving efficiencies, minimizing costs. But people for us are a non-negotiable. Right? Our organization, if you look at our values, we are centered on people. We have not defined our values as an organization based on AI. Our values are based on people. And the way you think of values, I always make this analogy. See, when you have let's say, mission to Mars, you want to go to Mars. And you start thinking of, you don't think of the machines that you want to travel with. You think of the people that you'd want to travel with to Mars. So you've got a mission to Mars, you want to set up a colony in Mars. So when you craft your values, you craft them based on the type of people that you want to attract, right? Do you want to travel with someone who's respectful? You want to travel with someone that you can trust? You want to travel with someone who's honest. You want to travel with someone that's humble. You want to travel with someone that is innovative and curious. And these are the values that are centered around human characteristics, not AI, right? And AI, you can do that, but it's never going to replace that need to say, I want to do something with people. So people become the center of the organization. So our AI projects are not centered around replacing people. Really, it's mainly around how we could really optimize or augment their capabilities.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Pleasure.
Hello and welcome. Can you please just tell us, introduce yourself first, and then just tell us, what else going on today now?
Sure. My name is Wabo Machabu, and today I had the privilege of being the program director for CIO Konect, which was a conference that addresses the challenges of CIOs in 2025. The challenges of dealing with fragmented solutions, the technology landscape, as well as adoption into business. What came out quite commonly is that CIOs are being redefined from back office troubleshooters to more strategic role in terms of understanding goals around data, rules of the business, and rules of interaction to increase efficiency.